I really don't know how I'm going to clap and hold this microphone to align the audio here. So maybe I'm just going to put it between my legs. Maybe between my arm. Yeah, I think that was better. Okay. Hello. Hey, Hodies. Welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I've got another one in store for you. It's Critical Sass. If you are new to me, this is my video where I look at the new makeup releases using accounts like TrendMood1, Makeup on My Radar, and Point Click Vibes. Those accounts do a lot of work and you should be following them because if they didn't exist, a lot of the videos, these new release videos, wouldn't happen. So if you like this kind of content, you should be following them. Also, if you like me, you should be subscribed to me. My dog used to never want to hang out with me when I would record, and now she's like all of a sudden like, oh my god, like I'm your #1 fan. In Critical Sass, what I like to do is be a little sassy, be a little critical. How do you think I got the name? As we head into these holiday seasons, I think it's really more important than ever to be more discerning about what we're looking at, what we're purchasing potentially. And you know, like these brands aren't our friends and we need to remember that. So if they're not working hard for our money, Donna Summer style, then they shouldn't have it. I feel like so much has come out since the last time I did one of these videos. So I'm going to start with Trend Mood and then we'll go from there. I know I've seen a few things that I would like to talk about. You know what, Instagram, I have a beef with you. You should not be allowed to override sounds on my phone. And also, why do you make it so hard to mute after you've accidentally bumped that speaker button? Because it won't unspeak. I would like for us to silence Instagram. There's going to be a change.org petition down below. Make sure you sign it, because I'm sure that will do something. Let's start with this little guy, this little thing that I feel like everyone was like talking about, and I'm not like quite sure why that is. But let's discuss it. This is a brand I don't think I've ever heard of. It's called Cara Beauty, and they released the Cookie Tin Creative Beauty Palette. Now, I have seen this show up on Teresa's channel. Normally, if I talk about something on Critical Sass, the chance that Teresa's already talked about it or is just bought it is very high. I think we all know, but do younger people know that like these cookie tins got used for like everything, but actually the cookies inside, you know, like you would eat the cookies and then it would be like, now thimbles live here, or silverware that's too good for regular use, but not quite good enough for whenever people are over and we're hosting. So it's like not the good stuff, but not the bad stuff, but it's like too good for the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, in here you have the wildest color story. There's too many brushes in here. All of the shades are in different sizes to be different things. Some are shaped like buttons. Some are shaped like, you know, threads of, if you thread a needle, what is inside the needle? Like, what is that material called? It's not, you know, it's like not yarn. It's like, what is that? I'm super qualified to be on YouTube. It's thread. It's a spindle of thread. You thread a needle with thread. So this will be the last video because for me, I'm speaking for myself here. This color story do nothing for me. You could do whatever you'd like, but I wouldn't buy it. I don't like the pans being in a disarray. I don't like the packaging. The problem is, the thing that I have an issue with is, this is really big. Now, if I had no makeup and I thought this was cute and I wanted to have it around for like a little cute little thing, sure, I see a world where like a collector might like this, you know, or you have someone who likes makeup and likes to sew, or you have someone, or like, I don't know, you want to delight grandma with a little fun gag gift. That's like who I see this is for. But me as a person who likes to use and wear my makeup, and I do love packaging. I like heft. I like it to be pretty. And I do think objectively this is like a very cute concept. I do not want to store that. So let's say I did like all of the things inside of it. I don't even know where I would put it. So I have a set of IKEA drawers, just one, 5 drawers. I have like 3 of the bigger drawers, 2 little drawers, right? You know, the one that everyone has. Where am I putting this? Not to say that this brand's eyeshadow quality isn't good. Is it going to be worth taking up space that could be taken up by some of my other favorite brands, like some more Natasha Denona, some more Viseart, some more Hindash? I know it's not going to be as good, or I certainly don't, I know it's not going to be better. I don't know, like performance-based most makeup doesn't come in stuff like this. Like it does. It's just, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm sure it's completely workable. I feel like I watch a lot of things while I'm working. I feel like I remember Teresa having enjoyed this palette. And so like, I'm sure the quality is fine, but I'm at a place in my makeup journey where I'm looking for high performance and hopefully like good packaging that comes with it. I'm not looking for cutesy. So a couple of things you should ask yourself whenever you see this. Do you like it just because it's cute? Or do you like it because you think you will also like the product inside? And do all those colors make sense to you? Have you made sense of the colors? Because the way that they are kind of laid out right now, it's kind of like they're all over the place. Have you taken the time to like do the thought process of like, there's this brown, there's this, and then there's blue, and there's yellow? Because what I think the people who are going to buy this are the people who look at it and instantly go, that's cute, that's funny, I want it. And those are the people who are going to buy it. If you're similar to me and you're looking for like quality performance-based products, do you really think you're going to find it in here? Of course, if you want to buy this and you think it's cute or whatever, I don't know. I've never heard of this brand. They kind of came out of nowhere. What I will commend the brand for is that they came with a really strong concept. And I think they did a really good job with it. However, I'm seeing through it. I ain't gonna buy this. I mean, I wouldn't have bought this anyway, but it's just like, you know, we're going through the process of like why I wouldn't, rather than just being like, ew, bad, gross, no. Unless you're Lauren Mercier, unless you're Lauren Mercier, then I will just say that your product is bad. I'm not going to talk about the painted palette, the new James Charles palette. But what I will say is that someone on Instagram named Zuza Ex Machina wrote the following: "Stop commenting mean things about him. I can't like all of them." I got tagged in this a couple of times because people know that I have a fondness for this beauty line. Burberry is launching powders. They are called the Beyond Wear Setting and Refining Powder. Ultra thin powders with skin protecting ingredients like raspberry stem cell and Vitalit E. What's a Vitalit? I know what a vitamin is. What's a Vitalit? Vitalit D. Anyway, it helps control shine and lock your foundation in place while soaking into pores to keep skin smooth and comfortable all day. Use it as a finishing touch to your routine or just for a burst of hydration. Comes in 4 shades: fair, medium, medium, deep, deep. As always with Burberry, the caveat is there isn't a shade range. It helps control shine and lock your foundation, or just use it for a burst of hydration. Now, I'm looking at this. What is happening? There's this white square in the middle. Is that powder, or is it like, you know, what were they called? The haloscopes from Glossier, where it was like balm in the center of highlighter. What is that? I'm just really confused about what it is. Like, what is it? I just recently purchased the Givenchy powder, the loose powder, the one that's been around forever and a day. I just bought one. It's my first time really trying it. I feel like I had one a long time ago when I first got into makeup. I think I returned it because I didn't really understand powder or what I was even looking for in a powder. If I was buying a powder, because it was like everything I wanted was like matte, M-A-T-T-E. By the way, I will never date a man named Matt because my childhood friend was named Matt. He actually had 3 first names. His name was Matthew. And like, he tried to get me in an MLM after college, I think. Anyway, I hope he's well. Never mind. I know he's well. I've seen him on Instagram. I don't think I follow him, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. What are we talking about? Powder. So I just bought a powder. So I don't need a powder. So did you just buy a powder? Were you personally victimized by Kackie talking about the Givenchy powder and you also bought the powder? So already, 1X, you're not getting the golden buzzer from me, Burberry. 2, I don't understand it. 3, if I was 100% a beauty reviewing channel, like if I did what Kackie did, I would want to buy this for science. Like I would want to buy this to explore it because I like Burberry, but also I also have other powders. I have 4 or 5 powders right now. I use them all in rotation. One is in my testing drawer, but the rest of them, I just they're mine. I cleaned them. So it's like, I really have no business trying another powder right now. If you are also a person who just tries to use one thing at a time, and I'm not trying to say, I'll use like 4 powders at once. Listen, it's a whole thing. How many powders am I wearing? I think I'm wearing at least 3 powders today. So sometimes I'll wear 4. And I'm not talking about blush. I mean like powders, setting powder, finishing powder, priming powder, which is like a thing that I'm exploring right now. Then you don't need another powder. Like you could also, I think what would be really great is like we find some other content creator who's talked about this. And there are a lot of smaller channels on YouTube that review like the luxury things that no one else does. I'm sure you can find someone who talks about it. Someone that will tell us what's going on in the center, like what is in the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop, and how many licks does it take to get there? The world may never know. So I have questions, but I won't be answering those questions. So I guess we just have to move on, I guess. I need to figure out who's in charge of Burberry, because they're talk about adagio beauty. Burberry puts a product out like once a year. Carly Bybel, or Bybel, okay, let me just be honest. I know I've heard the name because she did a palette with Anastasia Beverly Hills when I was working at Sephora. But I've never participated in Carly Bybel culture. And I've heard it pronounced both Bybel and Bybel. So I don't know which way is the right way.
Carly Bybel. Carly Bybel.
I'm gonna go with Bybel. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. She is releasing an eyeshadow palette, some lipsticks, maybe lip gloss, lip liners, highlighters. Okay, so it's kind of like a full... Oh my god. Wait, what is this? The Magic Eyeliner. It's a liquid liner and it comes in like gauche packaging. I like kind of live. I mean, that was such a choice. Let's break it down a bit by bit. And then I want to talk about influencer makeup brands. So this wouldn't be a slight at Carly specifically. It's going to be at the timing of what Carly has done. So let's look at the palette. If you're a new brand and you're going to sell eyeshadows, I know that neutrals sell the most. We all know that, right? Because it's like what people are going to use the most. I think it's also what the lowest common denominator, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like anyone who does makeup is going to get use out of a neutral palette. I think it is pretty because I like neutrals. Like the thing that sticks out to me the most is, I think the thing that also is weird about it is that there's this beautiful like pink or like lavender shimmer in the center of it. And it's like really pretty looking. And in the swatches, it's really pretty. But the palette as a whole is kind of losing me. It looks huge. I'm not really sure. There's no Shawn Mendes for scale. So I can't really figure out how big it is. It looks pigmented, sure. Let's talk about what I think the greater problem is for a brand. And I do think that James Charles's Painted falls into this as well with their recent launch. But we're going to talk about Carly because I don't really want to give James Charles the time of day. Most of the people who are watching Carly or participating in her content, I think she's on YouTube. I really don't know. And I think that's okay. We don't have to know about every single content creator on YouTube. That's impossible. It is impossible. There are a lot of old school content creators that I have heard about in passing, and I think Carly Bybel falls into that category. All the people who participate in her culture, participate in her viewing, if she reviews makeup, has probably bought a neutral palette based on her recommendation, which means they already have one. So the real motivation to buy something like this from a new influencer beauty brand is to support the person. Now, I'm not trying to say that influencers can't make really great beauty brands. There are a lot of influencer brands that do very well, and I've heard nothing but excellent things about the quality of their makeup. So I'm not saying that Carly can't do that, but it's also, we're just kind of at this point where we're so oversaturated with makeup as it is. Like we've been oversaturated for a while. Brand identities can't just be an influencer anymore. There are these brands that have been around for a long time, and they have these very strong brand identities. It's very hard for a new brand to break into a scene where it's just there's so much of what she's doing already. There's so much of what she's not doing anything different and unique, other than the fact the thing that's different and unique about her brand is that she's attached to it. It doesn't mean the formulas or whatever. And I don't know a lot about her, but is she creating super innovative formulas? And I'm not saying that she isn't or can't or won't, but I'm going to use Isamaya as an example. And obviously Isamaya is not an influencer brand, but Isamaya's brand came onto the scene with a very strong identity. It was just not like anything else that was happening, and it didn't feel a dime a dozen. Whenever an influencer breaks into the scene and they're making very, very simple makeup, it's well, why would I buy it from you unless I liked you? So it basically, this kind of brand is just merch. In my opinion, it's merch. I feel similarly about Trixie Cosmetics. I know there are people, I'm not saying that there aren't people that love those things and enjoy them and actually and I'm not saying that that's not makeup worth buying. It's just for me as an outsider, if I'm not invested in that person, I'm probably not going to buy makeup from them, because it's just well, unless you do something really cool and different, which I want. I want people to push the boundaries. I want people to innovate formulas. I want them to do that. But I think that these influencers coming in very lazy. They're like, if I make a neutral palette, I will make the most money on a neutral palette. Whereas, I understand that money speaks in any industry. And I know that money specifically speaks in the makeup industry. But it's just like, you have to do something different to get people who aren't interested in you as a person to buy into your brand. And I just don't think that any of these people are doing a very good job of it. However, on the flip side, she released an eyeliner and it's in packaging like I've never seen before. So that's pretty interesting. So I would say that's cool. I don't wear liquid eyeliner though. And also I wouldn't buy liquid eyeliner for the packaging. It would have to be a really good formula. Again, not saying that hers isn't. I'm just saying it would have to really blow me out of the water. And I just don't think that this new influencer brand is going to be a brand that I would try and be blown out of the water. So Oden's Eye, I don't know if this is already over. I don't know if this has already happened. So if you can't buy these anymore, I apologize. I was late to the party. But I would like to talk about them still. There's 2 Christmas palettes that were only available seemingly for 24 hours. And if you didn't get them, you didn't get them. They're back. Or we're back. I have no idea. And they also launched 2 new palettes. So there's the Snow Dream palette and also the Hey Reindeer palette. Actually, I have seen some reviews of these and I've heard that the 2 newer palettes, or one of the 2 newer palettes, is people aren't vibing with it, which is interesting. Because I think this is the first time I've seen, well, that's not true. Oden's Eye's single shadow release, I feel like, not on YouTube, but on Instagram kind of did not go over very well. Anyway, all that to be said, also, there are a lot of people who don't care for the brand Oden's Eye, and this isn't me just telling you, this isn't me supporting them in any specific way. I think we're going to be pretty critical of them. I'm not going to buy an eyeshadow palette that's themed to a holiday. I did it one time. I bought the Natasha Denona Love palette and I decluttered it. And also it would be one of those things where I was like, I guess I can only wear this in February. That's like the feeling. That's the vibe, right? Whenever you release, it's like, I can only wear this between November and December, or it just doesn't make any sense for me to wear it. That's how my brain works. Your brain might work differently. There's obviously no rules to this, right? You can wear whatever colors, whatever you want. If you want to be a bronze goddess in the dead middle of winter in Maine, I want that for you. You should do that. What I think is more interesting is, can we just talk about limited edition makeup for like a second? I just want to talk about it for like a little bit. They released these 2 eyeshadow palettes last year. These two. Whatever this picture said, it's those 2. And they were highly coveted because they were great color stories. And I will contest, I think these color stories are very pretty. I think they were cool. I think that these were a unique take on Christmas. I'm not sure I feel that way about the 2 new ones, but these ones were. And people were upset, devastated, have been begging this brand to bring them back like all year. It's just like since they went away, people have been begging them to bring these back. I think the brand bringing it back is a mistake because I think limited edition has a time and place. Part of the reason that limited edition feels special is the fact that you got it and it was limited edition and you're one of the 3,000 people who managed to get your hands on it. It's the same thing like as in record collecting or whatever. It's just like what's special about the record that you bought that there was only 500 prints of is that you are one of the 500 people who got the print. Not that it diminishes the value of the people who already bought it last year who managed to get their hands on it. Like part of it being limited edition is like part of the fun of it, right? I think. I understand that there is this thing that comes with limited edition marketing that causes people who may be on a low buy or a no buy or just not have money at the time, it makes them feel some kind of way. But like, also, you might have been someone who like maybe had the money at the time and that was like really cool that you could treat yourself to that. And it gives you this scarcity mindset where you're like, if I don't buy it, I will never have it. What you need to do to enjoy limited edition is make peace with that you might never have it. And maybe and let go of maybe wanting to buy it on a resale website because they no longer make it or whatever. The thing is, if a brand releases something limited edition, if they re-release it later, it's not going to be as special even to you, the person who's wanted it the whole time. Let's say you're one of the people who's coveting these palettes. I have no interest in buying these. I thought I talked about them before. I think they are pretty. Again, that's still true. I still think they are pretty. Even to you, the person who's been begging Oden's Eye for a year to bring this back, there's no way what you have created this product to be in your mind is going to live up to it. I think we just saw it with the Ethereal Eyes. Now, I got comments when I talked about Ethereal Eyes coming back that I've heard that the quality wasn't the same as the first run. I can't speak to that. I didn't buy it again because I already have it. But like, I could see myself, because I've done it before. I can give a perfect example. The brand Glaminatrix released the Nocturnal palette, and it was supposed to be limited edition, and then they made more of them, and guess what? It just kind of stuck around forever. So this also could be a mistake for a brand too, where like all these people say like, please release it again, and then you release it again, and like not as many people buy it as you made. And so then it's like you have this stock sitting around, which is also not good for the brand, by the way. You know, like it's not good for them either. I bought the Nocturnal palette, and guess what? I'm sure if I would have got it in the first run, I would have loved it. But like the fact that I didn't get it until a year later, there was no way that the eyeshadow just the palette didn't live up to what I thought it was, because I thought it was going to solve all of my problems. So if you think these palettes are going to solve all your problems and you've been begging for a year, I just feel like there's no way that this is going to live up to the hype that you've put it in, because at the end of the day, it's just makeup. At the end of the day, it is just makeup. This isn't the only brand who makes color stories like this. This isn't the only makeup brand. I think that there's too many eyeshadows in these. That's my personal thing. I like a 10 color eyeshadow story. 16's really pushing it. I mean, it's fine, but it's like pushing it. Are you going to use all the shades in all of these palettes? Probably not. Even eyeshadow palettes that I have and I love, most of the time I'm using 4 of the shades in it over and over again. Like you whenever you look at my eyeshadow palettes, it's like when Tom picks up this palette, this is the eyeshadow look that they do. It just is like a reality of the thing. It's just, it is. I advise you, if you were so hype about this, and perhaps maybe you can't buy it still. Like maybe you don't have the money, or you're on a no buy and you're standing firm in your no buy. It's not part of your low buy rules to purchase it. Just remember that there's no way that this is going to live up to whatever pedestal you've put it on. And that's okay. You can live vicariously through people who have purchased this and be like, look how gorgeous that is. I'm so happy for them. I love that that looks like that on them. And I'm glad they're getting good use out of it. And you can celebrate that too. I know it's harder because we all have a little bit of jealousy in our bones. Push yourself and look at your eyeshadow collection and be like, if I were to buy that eyeshadow palette, what would be the eye look that I would want to make first and foremost? Because very likely, whatever you're most attracted to in any of these palettes is going to be the stuff that you buy all the time anyway. I think limited edition is fun and cute and exciting sometimes, and I like it. And I also like the feeling if I do buy something limited edition that I feel like special that I have it. And I also love whenever someone else gets something limited edition that I wasn't able to get my hands on. I love that they got it and that they're getting to love it and they feel special because they have it. And I think it's okay. I think it's all okay. Giorgio Armani is releasing a new foundation. It's the Designer Glow Radiant Revitalizing Foundation with SPF 15. Instant perfect glow, improves skin over time, enriched with Prussian blue pigments, combined with new light reflecting pearls, creates radiance, reduces dullness, skin to skin texture, boosts hydration, locks in moisture, strengthens skin, and preserves a healthy glow all day long. And then there is an asterisk. It's available now in Asia, and then they said they were going to keep it updated for the US. So, as is common whenever there's an Asia release, is that there's... I don't know where I went in this clip, but the end of this thought was that it's a bad shade range, and that's typical for whenever it's an Asia release. So, hopefully, if it does come to America, the shade range is extended immensely. I actually don't like the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, but I actually really like the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. So I'm wondering if I would like this, because it's like Armani has one time hit it out of the park with a complexion product for me, and then the other time has really failed me. It was weird because I feel like everything that people love about the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, I had the exact opposite experience with that formula, and I'm not sure why. It was the most unattractive foundation I think I've ever put on my face, which was weird because a lot of the things that a lot of people like about it, like about how it's kind to, textured skin, aging skin, all those things, is like the exact, it made my skin look terrible. And not that I have the most signs of aging or fine lines and wrinkles or all that. It just was like, I have some, and I felt like it enhanced the ones I had. And I was like, wow, this is just not for me. I feel like we can't talk about it much because it's like, I can't really say much about the shade range. I obviously can't talk about the formula. It sounds like a lovely formula. However, it does also sound that like if it comes to America, we're going to hear a lot about like with skin caring ingredients, this foundation is going to change your life. Coming soon to America, summer blockbuster, July 2024. Like I feel like that's what it's going to sound like if they bring it to America, because I guess that's how you get America excited. Were you excited? Were you a little elated? Did you get a little turned on by me just now? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you did. Adele may be releasing a beauty brand. There's a trademark filed for the Shelbourne Collective. It will include eyeshadows similar to the ones her makeup artist uses to create her smoky eye looks. I'm pretty sure that Anthony Nguyen I think that's who Adele's makeup artist is, because I follow them on Instagram. And Adele's makeup is impeccable, incredible, amazing, stunning. The pitfalls with a makeup brand is that there's going to be some expectation on Adele about what this is. Luckily for Adele, if she is going this route, is that her makeup is like kind of classic, timeless, a winged liner, like a very simple eye, very contoured skin. Like if it's all about like bronzer and blush, well, not even blush, she doesn't wear like a lot of blush either. It's like just I think Adele is like all this. Like she's all this. So I wonder if like the makeup artist is also helping with the line. In that case, I wish they would have that person would have released a makeup line, because then we could have seen that person's vision all the way through. However, if we think about other recording artists that released brands, we have Fenty, but I think Fenty is a very specific case where like it was a full line launch. I'm gonna guess that we're not gonna get that. Rare Beauty also kind of just went the Fenty route, was like a whole full line launch. Give Beauty by Gwen Stefani, that got announced and we were all kind of like, what is that? Gwen, can you tell us what that is? Because the unfortunate thing with Gwen, she's had many levels to her career, and I thought hopefully she was going to go with like 90s Gwen, and what she did in fact went with modern day Gwen, who I'm not interested in at all. And obviously Gwen Stefani she just needs to stop talking. It's my personal opinion. Because sometimes she says things I'm like, girly pop. Not that. What's another brand? House Labs, when it first launched, everyone was like, is this what a Lady Gaga makeup brand should look like? So I have a feeling that could happen to Adele, but also Adele is not really like an out there performer. So if she, like, if swear to God, I think it'd be very fun if she just released eyeliner. Like Adele's eyeliner. I think that would be that's it. That's the brand. And if it was a really nice eyeliner, sure. You know what I mean? If this brand launches and it does well, like what's the future of it? I would assume that you would have to make foundations and concealers or something, because like her skin, Adele's skin, and obviously I know Adele is someone who can afford procedures, Dr. Zizmore in there. What I will say is just like her skin is like kind of, that's the makeup. Like undetectable, beautiful makeup. When I say undetectable, she's like contoured like a Kardashian, truly. And it's just like, I want that, because I love that kind of stuff. But also it's like, why aren't other brands doing that? I just feel like what we're going to see from this brand is a lot of what we can find in other brands. And at this point, like, what's the point? I'm kind of whatever about it. I would love to be heated about it. I just think that the makeup world is not going to care about this ultimately when it comes out. Like, people are going to buy it, again, just kind of like with Carly Bybel. It's like Adele merch. It's like an extension of Adele. It's Adele merch. P.Louise and Mikayla teamed up to release a 50-pan eyeshadow quad. And you're like, you heard that and you were like, what do you mean? I firmly believe if this was a quad that had a white, a blue, a brown, a dark brown, and a lighter brown, you could do essentially every single look you could do with all 50 of these eyeshadows. This is stupid. I understand that the brand P.Louise has like a propensity for doing like oversized, many shaded things. Blending and technique is something that comes with time. And I do think it's a cop-out whenever brands do these eyeshadow palettes that have a lot of the same shade with very little variation between them, because you can kind of cheat things if you don't know how to blend that well. But what I'm saying is it's a waste of space. It's so big. You just do not need an eyeshadow palette to have 50 shades in it. First of all, there's a very clear color story here that could have been thought out in 8 shades at most, but I literally think this looks like a quad to me. It looks like a quad. It's like 4. If you take like the gradients and just made them all the shade, if you combine them all, if you smush them all together, whatever that color is, that would be how you don't need 50 eyeshadows to do any of the looks that you can do with this eyeshadow palette. You just don't need, there's not enough variance in there. Sure. Maybe there's some different textures in there that I can't see just from the picture, but to have an icy blue palette with 50 dedicated shades is so dumb. I would recommend you go to Trixie Mattel's website. I don't know if these eyeshadow palettes are still available on Trixie, but she has like a little 8-pan or she has like a mini. She had a bigger blue eyeshadow palette. She also made like a mini of it. Buy that. I think it's 12 shades at most. Dear God, I don't know. Who's buying this? And just remove the 2 people involved. If another brand released this, it's like it's just so much eyeshadow for no reason. It's just so, and where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put that palette? It's half the size of Mikayla in the one photo. It's so big. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you are like a Mikayla fan who happened to stumble onto this page, I just want to say to you, you don't have to buy something just because she endorses it or is part of it. You simply do not. You just simply don't. So if you feel compelled to buy everything just because in it, but even though you wouldn't wear like blue eyeshadow, which is what this is, and a lot of people don't like to wear a lot of blue. Some people blue, they're all about blue. I'm not one of those people, but I know that there are people who are. But if you're not, you don't have to buy it just because Mikayla's associated with it. Or also if you're a big fan of P.Louise and you don't like the color blue, you don't have to buy this just because it exists. Okay, everyone, I think I've hit the high points of what I would like to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you are new here and you haven't really caught the vibe, my channel is about loving my makeup collection as it is currently, first and foremost, while being very discerning about what I choose to bring into my makeup collection. What I want to do on my channel is help myself and help you build the habit of looking at something that's available for purchase, reflecting on the makeup you already have, and figuring out, deciding whether or not what you have can actually satisfy what that is. So if that's the kind of content you're into, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm also privileged enough to get some PR sometimes, which I also do review if it comes my way, but I am still trying to love my collection first and foremost. And we're heading into the end of the year, so you're going to start seeing a lot of my favorites. You're going to see my least favorites. There's going to be a big declutter at the end of the year, and you might see some collabs with some friends coming up. So I want you to be here for that. So I'd love to have you subscribe. I'm also on Patreon if you want to support me there. It's patreon.com/hautemesstom. Over there, I do additional content. I try to do at least one video a month, but I'm trying out some like shorter form vlogging. Shorter form meaning like between 10 and 20 minutes, so like not the absolute shortest. And then also I do my podcast with Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty called Dumb Bitch Hour, and that's released every Tuesday on our Patreon. So you can join mine or hers. Both of our Patreons start at $1, so you can do that if you want. But if you don't have the money or would not like to support me financially, that's okay. Liking, commenting, that's all a really great way to support me. And it's not a better way to support me by being on Patreon. It's just a different way. But if you are a current patron, or if you have ever been a patron of mine, thank you so much. You're the absolute best. What do you hate that's coming out? What are you trying to talk yourself out of? Let us know in the comments down below, and we would love to have a conversation with you. Okay, I'm done. I'm ready to go home. So remember to follow your hope, and you will find me. Bye.